welcome back. It's currently Saturday, June 21, 2025, and I'm going to be mapping some more levels for
Greetings!
my Star Zero add-on. Greetings! Hello! Oh, that was loud. Maybe I should turn my system volume down just a little bit. But yeah, welcome. Hello, Concordia Willows. Thanks for joining. Hi, Spectre Gaming. Hi, Danskart. Welcome back, guys. So, I'm going to be streaming some more mapping for this project. I've been putting off the stream for a little bit because, to be honest, I was very unhappy with the way the previous mapping stream turned out. And I've been struggling with that for a while. I'm like, how can I do this better? How do I want to improve these mapping streams? I don't think that the actual reception to the stream was that bad. Generally, people had positive comments about it, but I just wasn't happy with the results that I had. And so I've been thinking about ways to try to improve that. I don't think I have a great formula or plan or template yet, but I do think that I have some ideas that will help this stream go a little bit better. Is the volume quiet for anyone else? That might be my microphone. I've been having some issues with the audio inputs lately. Try turning up. This should not make my mic louder. This should only make the system louder. Okay. I'm not going to touch the gain on my microphone because last time I almost wonder... Wait a minute. Could my microphone settings be messed up in OBS? Like the filters? So it's using the right device. I click here and I go... No, click here. Say filters. That should be good. Sorry, I'm just checking my device settings right now. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit, but I'm scared that it will get really loud because I don't want that to happen. Maybe I just need to reposition my microphone a little bit. Can you hear me okay now? Let me know how my voice sounds. I'm gonna keep going. I was having a lot of difficulty with this microphone during the last stream. It does seem like the volume is inconsistent. I'm not sure what's happening here. It's a bit better? Good. What does it sound like now? That seems too loud. Changing my mic settings right now. Does it sound more consistent now? Better. Okay, let me know if it sounds bad again, because I was having that issue where it seemed like the gain was inconsistent, like it kept jumping up when I was streaming Terminator, and that was really annoying. So thanks for letting me know, guys. I really appreciate that. So before I get started, I want to briefly comment on what I did during the last stream, and then what I did off stream, and then we can go from there. So first, I was pretty happy with this test chamber. This is going to be the second test chamber that the player goes into during this section, and this is something very simple. There's actually no puzzle in here. It's just a little bit of ambience. You go into the test chamber. You don't even need this cube. The test chamber is broken. And what you actually want to do is get outside of the test chamber into the behind the scenes area. So I have no issues here. I did have some questions about the lighting, and that's something I talked to Trivia about, but not a big issue. The problem happened when I continued out into this area. Now, my idea for this area is that it's supposed to be a big open area where the Gnome can stalk you for a little while, where it's more of an industrial behind the scenes section, and eventually you need to ascend upwards to get back into the proper test chamber area. And The problem I have is I was really unhappy with the way this looks. The texture choice with this sort of striping, that where the band doesn't go all the way around, the floor grates that don't quite reach the edge, the shape of the pit that's sort of weirdly shaped, and these ramps. Using ramps makes sense because they have to move equipment in and out of this area, but something about this ramp just looks very video gamey. Like, I was just really unhappy with this whole area. You're saying I like this area. I'm a little bit nervous because, honestly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over with that area. I think I have a better idea of how to do it now, and I'm going to try to keep things simpler. I think having, like wanting to have complicated shapes is what made me kind of get off track. And so I'm going to try to do that over again, but this time I'm going to use more gray box design. I'm going to design the whole thing with dev textures, and then fit textures to it, make sure that the textures align, and then try to add more shapes into it. And I think that will work better. I don't have my whiteboard designs for today uploaded, but I was drawing on my whiteboard, and I want to just kind of simplify that idea. And to do that, this pit, I'm actually going to remove from gameplay, because I don't think it really serves a purpose here. It's not like you can, like, knock enemies into the pit or something. It's just sort of a big, like, gap in the level. So I want to kind of make that more of like the exterior, like a negative space outside of the map. Maybe even use a skybox, and then I can keep the actual interior of the map more simple. So that's kind of my thought process. But before I get into it, I also wanted to show what I've done off stream. Hi XD, welcome. Thanks for joining. So I'm gonna briefly mute my soundtrack. Go over to the game scene. Hi, Coded. I'm working on my workshop project for EZ2. So I wanted to show you guys what I did off stream to the first map that I worked on. I was talking to Trivia about it, and I wanted to try to match the lighting of EZ2 a little bit better, because this is meant to be Arbite 1. So it's meant to be the same area that you visit in Chapter 3 of Entropy 02. So I wanted to use more similar lighting to how the lighting was set up in EZ2. So to that end, I changed this light to be the same color of orange that that EZ2 uses. I made this light orange. Forgot to update the sprite. Hello to my second favorite VTuber. Hi, Pew. What do you think, Pew? Should I become a VTuber? Should I forsake flesh tubing? Turn off the webcam. I was gonna say, I replaced all the white lights with orange lights using the same hue as Entropy 02, and I changed the intensities a lot. I tried to dim the whole area. I've heard that it's still too bright, but on this monitor I actually can't see, so maybe that's more of an issue with my monitor. And I dropped the goo pit down so that the light from the goo doesn't reach as far up. Clodcop Gaming Live. Get rid of your flesh. It sickened me. From the moment I understood the weakness of my flesh, it disgusted me. And by the way, Coded, your model looks great. You could be a flesh tuber but have a PNG that moves next to you. You will be beyond categorization. I like that, Pew. Another thing that I added to this area... Oh, ignore this. That shouldn't be there. Another thing that I added to this area are zombies that are attached to the wall with webbing. The thought process is I want this to be kind of like the Hive in Aliens. And so the idea is that the Gnome is bringing people down to this test chamber and sort of like leaving them here, letting headcrabs get onto them to incubate headcrab zombies. It's not something that we've seen before with zombies in Half-Life. It is very alien, but I don't know. That's kind of an inspiration for me, so I thought it made sense. I also added blue Zen stuff. So there's Zen infestation in here that's going to be having absorbed the biotic cohesion gel from Aperture, and it has a blue look, you know, like the proto-molecule from The Expanse, or like Phazon from Metroid Prime. Really just a lot of my inspirations on display here. The zombie stuck to the wall reminds me of the enemies in Cry of Fear stuck to walls. I don't remember that part. I don't think I ever actually finished Cry of Fear. I think this area looks a lot better with the orange lights. Reminds me of Soma. I'm glad you said that, because I love Soma. That's like my favorite horror game. I would love to make something like Soma someday. I think for me at least, Soma was an inspiration for Easy 2 as well. Although that doesn't really apply to the rest of the team. Why does this shadow disappear when I... That's weird. Wait. I guess there's like I don't know. Is there a far Z plane that calls the shadows that it's like passing through? Anyways, doesn't matter. John Entropy 0 creates Soma and Source Engine. Ideally, that's the goal. And I want to have a lot more variations of these guys stuck to walls. I think that'll be a recurring motif in this. Portal 3. It would be cool to see more horror elements in a Portal game. I know there's some Portal mods that have leaned into that, but I'd love to see it. Needs more restrooms. Well, this is a test chamber, but actually, you're right. We should put a restroom up there. So, gonna leave that on the button. Oh no, how do I get the cube off of the button? By dropping a new cube. Here's my puzzle. Okay. So with that out of the way, we're gonna continue. Workers, security, Arbite rebels, Arbite medics, and jump team zombies. Yeah, it'll mostly be rebels. Because I figure the Arbite employees have been... I mean, they were there a long time ago, so they've probably all already become zombies by this time. Can you put a microwave in the restroom? I don't think that's very convenient, Coded. I don't really want to do that. Okay, just because Coded pointed it out, we're going to, we're just gonna... Restroom? Bathroom. Come on, there's gotta be a sign. There's like a... here. Okay, we'll just quick... Bathroom hot pocket. Guys, we're not putting a microwave in the bathroom. Okay. See, there we go. We have a bathroom. Are you happy now? There we go. There's now a bathroom. I'm also... Okay, this has been bothering me. I left this developer texture here. I know this isn't the subject of today's stream, but I'm gonna quick fix that. Pro starves in his own bathroom. Guys, you go to the kitchen to use the microwave. What texture would I even want for this? Definitely a metal texture, but I want it to be like an edge. Amazing bathroom signage. It's really inspiring. Okay, AI summary. Where's the bathroom for Wilson? Yeah, you're right. We need a turret bathroom. It's not very accessible. Why is this... Okay. This This is not the texture I should be using for this. Yeah, that doesn't look right. It's alright. I should probably just use the metal texture that we kind of use for everything. I think it's like this one. That texture can go on anything. I think I could use a gradient texture here. Valve with metal ceiling 005A, they used it for face map details? They did not. There's no way. If you do not put an M dash in my chat, I'm gonna make an M dash a restricted character. Don't do it. The audacity to come into my chat and use an M dash. Ah, of course. I'm always really impressed by the detailing in your maps, Denskart. I can't wait to play whatever you're working on next. Oops. There we go. I think this isn't even color matched. What am I even doing? Because it's actually red, it's not. There we go, that's better. Hi, Bloody Cop. Welcome. I'm gonna find a way to get myself stuck when I play this. It's probably not too hard. Like, I don't currently have... Let's see. That looks so much better. Anyways, right now you can throw the cube into the goo and nothing happens, but it's not really a soft lock because you can always press the button to get a new cube. I think there is one soft lock, which is if you put a cube on this button to open this door, and then you go over here, but you get the gnome to come out and knock the cube off of the button, it'll seal this door, and if you're over here, then you're stuck permanently. So there is one soft lock that I already found. If you stop using M dashes, I swear. Okay, so now we're gonna start over on this section. I think I actually kind of want this to be like a vent in the wall, but it's kind of hard because I already cut it to be more like a doorway. So I'm not sure how I want to approach that. Send the maps to me early and I'll find every soft lock. Maybe when I start doing playtesting. What's the music? That's a great question. This is Uncertainty Principle from the Axon Pariah soundtrack. Ow. That's so loud. Why are you laughing at me, Coded? Let me turn this down again. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna switch gears a little bit and actually go to dev textures, because I'm not sure exactly how I want to texture this area, and I want to kind of sketch it out first. So I'm gonna use the generic dev texture. And I think we're off the grid by just a little bit. No, we're off the grid. We're not off the grid, but we're off of this grid scale, which is, I think, I have it set to 64. How wide do I want these hallways to be? Seems a little too narrow for what it is. Maybe I'll go 256. Oh, thanks for the healing. I wanted to hear a chuckle. hallway should extend a little bit further. But not too far because it risks going into the the previous level. And likewise, I want to extend it past the end here, but not too far past. I think this is a pretty good scale. I need to hear that one beat edit made from the health station. I don't think I have that on tap, Pew. I don't know if I can help with that. It won't be a true Half-Life map if there's no map overlap. True. I'm already doing some pretty crazy overlap in the area that loops back on the section from EZ2. Let me just open that a second. So if we go over here, this is based on an area from EZ2, right? This is where you go find Wilson originally. And, oh, we already saw it. This is the observation room where you watch the Gnome fight. So this is from EZ2, but I combined the map with the Gnome with the earlier map where you find Wilson, right? If you go down here, first of all, I had to, like, cut a bunch of the map out. This door leads like right in the middle of a solid wall. I had to like scrunch the ceiling down because the floor of the one map intersected with the ceiling of the other map. It's all like here as well. Like this was like flush with the floor of it's all a mess. It overlaps quite a bit. Your Twitch chat is delayed? How much is it delayed? A few seconds is, I think, pretty normal. I'm not sure if there's too much I can do about it. Let's see. It's like 10 seconds, really? What can I do about this? Will we be getting a cameo of that one bull squid? I've been thinking about that. I really want to have an entire, like, dedicated section where you're in this area and you have to hide from this bull squid. Like, the bull squid is the monster. Yeah, this is the Entropy Zero Uprising soundtrack that's playing. So yeah, we will definitely be getting a cameo of the bull squid. I remember the days of something where streams were delayed by a lot. I imagine that's probably Justin TV or something like that. I love Easy Use soundtrack. Me too. I think to start out with, I'm just going to extend this here so that we're back on, at least on the 64 unit grid. Just because that'll make it easier to measure. I wonder how tall this hallway should be. This is already like 132 units, which is... No, it's just 128. 128 units is a pretty standard height. I might raise it up just a little bit, like 100 and... let's add 64 units on top of that. Is that the same bull squid that eats a corpse right after the explosive room in Arbite 1? No. I'm pretty sure they're different because I think the one in the explosive room doesn't have any blue goo on it. Although I guess it could have like found some goo and then looped around. So they could feasibly be the same bull squid. I never thought of them as being the same bull squid though. For what it's worth. That's not a dev texture. We can basically use this as our dev texture. This is like, this texture is used everywhere in EZ2. Will cameo of GLaDOS? Not in this map. No, but I do want to have more aperture lore. So definitely GLaDOS could be mentioned, but she wouldn't make an appearance because I don't think that would make a lot of sense. I always had this idea of, like, what if you brought the secretary turret from Chapter 3 all the way to the end of EZ2? There should be, like, an alternate ending where the secretary turret takes over Arbite 3 instead of Wilson. I think that would be fun. But, it's the kind of idea, like, I never had time to try to implement that as a workshop add-on or anything. Cameo Burger King. I don't think I can cameo Burger King coded. Not sure if I asked this before, but will there be a Clone Cop cameo or interaction? Yeah, I mean, it depends on the timing, because, like, by the time this story, like, by the time you wake up in this map here, you're gonna fall down this vent and you land here, right? And then the story starts. Clone Cop has already left the building by the time that happens. Burger Town cameo. What about Burger Tank? I could cameo Burger Tank. You've heard of the McDonald's at the Pentagon. Now how about the Burger Tank at Arbite 1? There's a certain hallway I kind of wanted to reference here, because I just really like the way it looks. It's one that Breadman made. The next evolution of the Gonome Headcrab Tank. I think that's what the Gonarch was. Okay, so like in this map, after you fight the Gonome here. There's this hallway right here. I always thought this looked really cool. I'm just gonna kind of steal this design, I think. It's actually not that complicated. Like, it's just a pretty basic box hallway, but then with these sort of like bulkheads, these angled supports on the walls with a different texture, really add a lot of like definition to the room. I think I tend to overthink things. Like, I think, wow, this hallway is not detailed enough. Oh, obviously it's not even finished, but just adding a few small details really makes a big difference. What if I... Okay. Would Plan B be able to defeat the weird tank from the Sacrifice campaign? But that tank was just a normal tank, right? So I don't see that there'd be too much difference. It's just a regular hallway. This hallway is pretty big, actually. I wonder if I might have made the hallway too large for what it is. Maybe not. I'm gonna steal your stolen idea for detailing. Yeah, I wish I was better at just sort of intuitively coming up with detail ideas like that. Like, I don't know, it's something about mapping that's always really fun. Yeah, that tank came out of a container with radiation signs. I think that was one that was like trapped by the military or something. I think this is the right texture for the floor. Was there also a floor texture on the ceiling in that other map? No, it was a wall texture. That's interesting. I don't see this texture used very often. I don't know if that's the right tool for the job here, but it does look cool. If I align this, does it line up? No, I don't think it does. Well, kind of does. What if I just extend this just a little bit? Perfect. Perfect fit. So, what if I actually angled a little bit of the wall, like here? Like if I did a cut that. How does that look? I think the texture is going to stretch too much. I'm kind of okay with it, actually. One thing I want to do to improve these streams that I haven't implemented for this stream is to get back on my Trello board that I used to use when I started this project. I find that helps me focus a lot more. Whereas like right now I'm kind of getting lost in the weeds a little bit. Sometimes it's okay to get a little distracted because I think that's where inspiration comes from, but it's like it's kind of a balance act. Oops, what have I done? Did not align that right. Oh, the board like the one you had for Cold Snap? I also had one for the Scar Zero project at one point, but I haven't kept up with it. See, that already looks way better. The texture kind of tessellates too much, but we'll fix that. I think at regular intervals I want to have a bulkhead looking thing. Let's see, if this is 1536. What can we divide this into? Actually used a Trello board with Shadow Apartment and it was helpful for organization. I'm glad that worked out. It's something that I find really helpful. Let's see, I think so, like right about here. How good is Trello? I've been using Mila Note to keep track of my bigger projects, but it has some limitations. I haven't used Mila Note. I think Trello is very limited. It can only do a few things. I use it as basically a very stripped down version of Jira, and I think for the way that I use it, it's very helpful. You know, it's not good for everything, and I wouldn't always recommend it, but if you want just like a really simple Kanban board, which is what I use it for, it does the job. It could probably do with a few more features for like tracking dependencies and stuff like that, but there's usually workarounds you can use for it. So I've had a really good experience with it. Your mileage may vary, of course. What texture do I want to use for this thing? Probably a different wall texture. Keep it separate. Be like this one? Yeah, that looks good. I don't know if that'll look good with the angles cut into it, though. Well, we can try it. It's the worst thing that can happen. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And I should probably cut a gap here so it doesn't overlap. Yeah, there's a lot of like subscription tools that are sort of probably intended more for like business to business kind of sales. So it's hard if you're doing a hobby project to know where to look to find something that's more for individuals. Obviously, if there's like an open source tool, that's usually the best way to go, but there's not always a great open source alternative. I've been thinking about that a little bit, like with OBS. Like, OBS made video recording completely different. Nobody ever has to pay for a subscription to record video ever again. So it really changed the game. I actually don't like the way that looks. Whiteboards seem great. You mean like a physical whiteboard? Because I use that. I love drawing on my whiteboard. I'm not even any good at drawing. I wonder if there'd be a good way for me to make this close behind you. Because that would be kind of cool to restrict the player from going back to this area. So it kind of keeps you moving forward. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and mirror this. That's some good, like, greebling. Like, this wall doesn't make much sense as far as, like, why would they construct it this way? But it looks visually like, you know, this looks like a sci-fi corridor. And sometimes that's enough, you know? I think I have a tendency to overthink things. Milanote is free and it lets you have a lot of boards and objects, but it also has a free limit based on objects. That's interesting. I'm familiar with a tool called Notion. Blix uses that one, and that can do just about anything. If Trello is really limited, Notion basically lets you do anything you need to do. But the trade-off, the downside is, I think it's a little bit more complicated compared with Trello. Like, Trello is just really easy. I should make this like a symmetrical thing. That would kind of make sense. The map-based website is built on Notion. Yeah, I forgot there was like a public-facing Notion, but yeah, that makes total sense. I think I'm gonna make this a vent. Or like an access hatch. Maybe I should stop using the trope of like giant people-sized air vents everywhere and say it's not a vent, it's like a maintenance hatch for people to get in. So it'd be like this. I think this kind of makes sense. Maybe I can add like a sign that's like maintenance access only or something. I really hope the next map base releases soon, because I really want to use it in my maps and maybe update some of my old ones to use it too. Yeah, map base 8, I believe, is the current one. That's going to come with the VScript serialization improvements, so fewer VScript related crashes when transitioning between maps and loading saves. I don't think I used that texture correctly. I think the only thing it lacks right now are the female view model hands and the support for body group hands. Oh, is that like, what do you mean exactly? It'll break saves, but something like legs and the protagonist system is worth it. I don't know. Like, if I was playing a game, I don't think I would feel that way. Like, oh, it doesn't matter that we broke your saves because you can have different hands. You know, I don't know. For making it, that makes sense, but it's probably not going to be a lot of fun to lose your saves. Legs. I don't know. All I'm thinking about is, like, when I go to make VR mods in the future, the legs are going to be a huge pain because we'd have to totally re-implement them or get rid of them. Left 4 Dead 1 legs. The legs are cool, admittedly. Like, when I play the developer build of Progenitors, seeing your legs is a lot of fun. It might be one of those things I'm not supposed to say. I'm not sure. Where'd the decal go? Hello? Out of context is wild? Wait, what do you mean? What did I say out of context? I must be confused. Yeah, the Easy Use soundtrack is awesome. with the protagonist stuff, they don't support multiple body groups. If you have body groups for something like sleeves and gloves, only one will be affected. How would you normally select between them? I guess that's what I don't understand. Like, because there isn't really a mechanism to. I mean, you can change body groups on. I guess you can change body groups on any face animating now, can't you? I was thinking that was only for prop dynamic, but no. Looks kind of bad. That looks terrible. Okay, we're gonna do something different. We're gonna put a little like sign up, maybe like here, made out of a different metal. Is there like a white BTS metal? This is what I'm looking for. That doesn't look very good either. We're getting somewhere. I don't know if we're getting somewhere good, but we're getting somewhere. Yeah, I'll take it. I'd like to make a choreography sequence of Bad Cop looking at a mirror and pointing to himself like Johnny Bravo. That's kind of what happens at the beginning of EZ2 when you think about it. Right? And this can be used for lighting. So I can just put one of those gradients in it. In fact, I might... I've been thinking I should turn this into an instance. This thing right here. I guess I can just copy it for now. its axis anymore, so I guess I can remove that one. I think I need some more lights in here. Let's take a look at this. Imagine being a maintenance worker with back pains and having to crouch through there. Yeah, I don't think this facility is up to code, I'm gonna be honest. With the new map-based update, you can stay in control of Bad Cop while he's doing it. Yeah, that's true, with the new mirror system. So here's our test chamber. That's kind of spooky. Except I can't get through here. Okay. Yeah, I kind of like this, actually. This is giving off the right atmosphere. I do think I'll need to add some lights to the hallway. Let's go back to textured. Before I get too crazy with the detailing, let's add the way out of this area. Because I don't think it's going to be through this door. I think there's going to be sort of a side hallway over here. I like how dark it was there. I do too, and I kind of want to have some NVG focus sections where you have to use the NVG, but maybe that will come later. I've been thinking about disabling the NVG for this add-on because Scar Zero takes a lot of damage when he gets taken by the Gonome, and that's an excuse to say, well, maybe your NVG stopped working. And honestly, I'm just sick of mapping around the NVG. I find it's very frustrating to work with. It's been kind of a thorn in our sides ever since we implemented NVG. When I say NVG, I mean night vision. Night vision goggles, which there's no goggles, so I guess it should just be called night vision. What would Scar Zero's armor cap be? 150 or 125? I was thinking his armor cap should be 100, because he's not an elite. But it's a good point that maybe the soldiers have more armor than the HEV suit would have, or than the Metro Cops would have. But I think I would stick with probably 100, unless I come up with a gameplay reason to do more than 100. Could be like 125, I guess, just to show that he has a little more armor. But the HEV suit caps at 100, so I always thought that giving Bad Cop as an elite 200 had more to do with like the Citadel chargers, and how like in the Citadel you can supercharge your suit. Kind of gives the impression that you're like an elite with a supercharged body pack, as they call it. Shotgunner's got to be 150. Yeah, Prospect Zero gave the Shotgunners 150, which I think makes sense. So I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna split this here. And like open this up a little bit. Does the texture not line up with the grid? Because that would be sad. I think I left texture scaling lock on. Did I scale anything weird? No, it's okay. Giving NPCs the ability to do player stuff only is some of my favorite stuff to see. I agree completely. I love seeing like NPCs pick up health and ammo. Like when Blix added that, or like a lot of the abilities that Clone Cop has, like he can pick up health and batteries, he can switch weapons. Seeing the NPCs act like the player is really, really cool. Perfect fit. Now, how far do I want this to extend into the wall? I need to pull up my whiteboard drawing on my phone. I forgot to upload it beforehand, like I usually do. There is going to be a door here, but I think it'll be inaccessible. Ads. I'm sorry. There is an ad break. Usually I take the ad breaks as a chance to go AFK, but I just kind of went straight through that one. I should briefly get up. Head Barney doing what? Welcome to stream. I don't think Barney is at this facility, although there is a map about that. Oh, I'm dead. Someone mentioned a map about Barney. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Hi, Gildan. By the way, I can't wait to see more information about your next project. I saw you're doing a sequel to Mission Terminate Calhoun, and I'm just so curious about it. You know when you're camping and you gotta pee in a bush? Yeah, there's not that many bushes here in the Arctic, though. I don't know where Barney can do that. Maybe in the bathroom that I added by request to this map. There you go. There's the bathroom. This is the second time on stream I had to talk about the bathroom, so I'm starting to get concerned. Gildan has been summoned. Nature finds a way. Now I'm just gonna gray box this little hallway. Why is there a bathroom on the map? I don't know. Chat asked me to add a bathroom. I mean, I guess it's probably for code. Like, the employees need to have bathrooms, right? There is something kind of interesting about like how video games detail their bathrooms. It makes it feel a little bit more lived in. Aperture is the type of company to not add a bathroom in an underground facility. Were there any bathrooms in Portal 2? Because now that you mention it, I feel like there were no bathrooms in Portal 2. If Bezos doesn't have bathrooms in his facilities, why would this place? You're so right about that. I mean, I've been in Amazon warehouses and they do have bathrooms, they just don't let people use them. Aperture would be making toothpaste using the blue goo as a basis. I think they kind of did that, right? Like they used repulsion gel as a diet aid. So yeah, biotic cohesion gel cleaning your teeth kind of makes sense. How I want to detail this. Maybe on this wall I would use more like negative space, like have like a metal grate and then have something behind it. What kind of doors should they have to what's basically going to be this area? In this big open area, what kind of doors would they use? I know like in Easy 2, right? We use... Not this map. Let me grab the other map. This map. In Easy 2, we use this like warehouse door, this big industrial. It's like it's a container, right? They use that door. I don't feel like that door fits this area very well though. I don't know. I should take notes from this section here because this is basically what I want to make. Confined space, hazardous atmosphere. Actually, I'm just gonna grab these. I just realized these would fit really well. I'm stealing this. Those are gonna go right there. Perfect. Try to mix between metal and concrete textures. That's a really good idea. Do you mean like for this area specifically? For this section? I'm not sure how to transition from the metal textures to... Portal 1 and 2, they have a toilet at the beginning of Chamber 0. You're right. In the relaxation vault. Just in general, yeah. Because that's something I noticed from that other map that I haven't really taken into account, is that when Breadman made this area, it's not all metal. Like, this is an aperture metal, this is an aperture metal, but also there's this concrete up at the top. It's also interesting that the metal is below the concrete. You'd expect it to be the other way around, but it kind of makes sense since this is an underground facility. This is probably like part of a structure that's above. I just realized this prop is sunken into the floor, and in all these years I never realized that this is like half submerged. This is the kind of area I want to make as well. Like, this is kind of like, you can imagine that the Gonome is using these flows of the blue goo to get around the facility, and this probably leads back to the area that I'm making. I also want to use these fences more, because I feel like they're a good way of, like, you can use a fence to create a barrier, but then there's a negative space behind it that can make it more visually interesting. Like here, like this could have just been a big cube, a big old cube, and it would have looked really bad, but instead it's a fence with this prop behind it, so it's more like there's more of a shape to it. I also didn't realize that we have a, like an ID number for the gel, 308924. Phytoplankton base variant 12A. That's interesting. A puzzle using the Arbite energy item, maybe even throwing them using the displacer into a pellet receiver would be really cool. Yeah. Because we have that in, yeah, Easy 2 has that where you shoot out of an AR-2. In all my years of entropy zeroing, I didn't know this prop was submerged. It's a clever way to reuse props in level design, is like have them clip into other things so you only see part of it, and then it might look like a completely different prop. Like, I would have assumed all this time that this is a different prop than this. But no, it's just rotated and sunk into the floor. What is this light? Wait a minute. See, I was told not to use white lights in my map because it didn't look like Chapter 3, but Chapter 3 uses white lights everywhere. Ooh, I like these pipes too. Is that just like a gas tank, like a, what would it be, propane tank? I never realized that it's just rotated on its side. That's cool. I think this is the kind of door that I need as well. But they use these doors a lot. Just kind of admiring this map now. Can I ask some modding advice? Yeah, go for it. I have a controversial idea for this mapping stream, guys. What if I only limited this stream to this hallway? Because my idea when I started the stream, when I went live, is like, okay, I'm going to do this hallway, and then I'm going to do the area outside the hallway, which is basically going to be my redo of this area, where there's going to be like a big open area with lots of like things to take cover behind and like stealth elements, and the Gonome is going to come out. But I'm like, honestly, I think that's over-scoping for one stream. I think I should just focus on just like jamming on this one area and making something really good. Hallway mapping gaming, yeah. I think I need to accept that. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm just too slow. It bothers me a lot. I'm like, how can I map faster? But I think I need to accept that sometimes it's not about, like, getting as much done as you can in one day. It's about, you know, making something that you're happy with. So if I rush it, I'll probably end up with something like I did last time, where I'm like, this is bad and I want to throw it out. Whereas if I take my time, I might make something that I'm more happy with. That's probably obvious, but... Uh-oh. You can always stream it another day. Yeah, I want to keep going with these mapping streams. I want it to be a regular thing. Just realized these textures are not aligned. Like, they're good on this side, and then on this side they're not right. I'm gonna fix that. I'm going to do more mapping streams regularly. Next Saturday I am busy. I will not be able to stream. I am hoping to finish Terminator Annihilation line on Thursday, and that will be my only stream for this week. And then the following week I can probably do Hank Hill working at Arbite building propane. Yeah, I didn't expect there would be so many propane canisters in Arbite 1. Wait a minute. Okay, that's better. Oops. Wait, which track is this? Oh, this is Farewell. I think this one is unused. Yeah. It's always cool to just have these streams to follow progress on the map and discuss stuff about EZ. I think I focus too much on productivity when the streams are more about vibes, you know? Not everything has to be about getting as much done as possible. Wonder how these walls would look unrusted. Oh, I can't even imagine. I think there's probably a texture for it, though. If I look at, like... Did you finish Terminator Annihilation Line last stream? I actually did not finish it. I rage quit the game because I didn't rage quit. I realized that there was more that I could finish in one stream, so I stopped playing. Because I changed the difficulty to hard, and I've been dying a lot on that game. I know that I should never stream games on hard. You always stream on normal, but I keep breaking that rule. I'm like, surely this time it will be okay. Oh, I know how to play this game, and then I stream it on hard, and then I regret it. It's like, if I'm gaming by myself, play on hard. If I'm streaming, play on normal. That's how it should always be. But I always fall to the temptation of playing on hard mode. I'm modding Black Mesa, and I mounted an MP5 replacement that made it look more like the original. And I mounted more mods after that, and it stopped working. So I have a cleanly wiped game, no mods. How do you know that it's cleanly wiped? Like, have you actually, did you actually delete the files, or did you just unsubscribe from the add-ons? Because it could be that you unsubscribed from the add-ons, but Steam never cleaned up the files. So what I would do is I would go into your actual workshop folder and delete the folder for Black Mesa, and then reinstall the game. Have you ever played the BioShock games? I have. Not in a long time, but I've played them. I'm gonna borrow more stuff from Chapter 3, I think. I went to the workshop files and deleted them. So when you say that it's not working, what's happening exactly? Blast door. Oh, so this isn't a container door, it's a blast door. It's interesting. Ooh, I like this texture. If the Scar Zero campaign was its own expansion, what would the difficulty settings be named like? I think they would be named after Overwatch codes. Because Scar Zero is a standard soldier, so he is more likely to communicate with the, like, regular code language. Oh, so when you say it's not working, you just mean that, like, the add-on isn't working. How do you know that it should work? Like, could it be like an incompatible add-on, or something where it doesn't work anymore? Blast door. Does Scar Zero have a name? Like, yeah, Scar Zero. No, I've never really thought about his name, because that's one thing I considered for this add-on is, like, should he remember, like, should he have flashbacks? Should he remember what happened to him before becoming a Combine Soldier? And the problem is, because of memory replacement, he wouldn't really have any memories about what happened before becoming a Combine Soldier. So that means it's kind of a problem for the storytelling, where it's like I lose the opportunity to make a new character because he's not going to remember anything about what happened to him before he became a soldier. So I don't know. I never gave him a name, but I am still going to think about the possibility of making a flashback scene if it ever makes sense. This is the EZU Anniversary trailer music by CW3D. What if the difficulty settings would be Scarless, Scarred, and Lone Wolf? Lone Wolf is a good one, but it doesn't really make sense if he has, he's the Lone Wolf as long as the squad isn't there, right? So if there's a section where you do get a squad, and I don't know if there will be or not yet, then it won't really make a lot of sense. I wasn't expecting to use this model, but it's used like so ubiquitously throughout Chapter 3 that I feel like I have to. Ooh, I left texture scaling lock on again. Rookie mistake. Yeah, so I'm making a decree right now. This stream is only going to be dedicated to this hallway. I do have ideas for what I want to do out here, but we're just going to jam on this hallway until we're happy with it. And then next mapping stream, I can focus on the exterior area. Sometimes I just have to be content with being slow. Actually, on the flip side, it would be kind of fun if I want to try to practice mapping faster, to do like almost like a speed run challenge, like have like a goal and say I need to do this within this amount of time and make it into like a game that way. Kind of like when MapLabs does test tubes, or when they used to do the 3-day challenges with Run, Think, Shoot, Live, that sort of thing. Scar Zero's real name is revealed to be Huge Ass. And he says, everyone is so mean to me. This is looking pretty good. I gotta restart my playlist. I need to get some more music. Now, Gildan had sent me more stream music to use for like the intro and outro from Combine Basis Out, and I'm really sad that I haven't put that in yet. I haven't had a lot of time, but I really wanted to use that music. What if Scar Zero is actually John Guy, lost brother of Chain Girl, the evil twin? Scar Zero's real name is John Freeman, brother of Gordon Freeman. Like, okay, like the typical backstory of a Combine soldier that you'd want to have is to have them be former HECU, right? So that you could tie it in with Half-Life 1. I'm definitely not going to do that for Scar Zero. Because I want to see characters like that, but I just feel like it's like it would make him too special, too like tied to the events of the main games. I think because I also can't decide if Scar Zero is a younger Combine soldier, like someone who grew up in the Combine occupation, or an older Combine soldier, like someone who was already a soldier during the 7-Hour War, and that would make a big difference too. Does Human Error have a soundtrack? That's one, and it's still related to Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't want to use the soundtrack and then find out that the authors aren't okay with me using it. Usually soundtracks are okay across the board, but I don't know. Like, I like being able to ask permission because then I know it's okay. But I can only really do that for mods where I know the developers and I know who made the soundtrack. Scar Zero's Rosenberg. Yeah, I'm thinking he probably was already a soldier during the 7-Hour War. So then you could have a flashback where he, if he somehow gets his memories back, he would remember the 7-Hour War. That could be cool. But I don't know. It could also be that he's like someone who grew up during the Combine occupation. Because, I mean, the Combine have been on Earth for 20 years, give or take. So people who were kids during the Resonance Cascade would be adults during this time period. Scar Zero's Hunt Down the Freeman, Nick. I will not be referencing Hunt Down the Freeman. I want to reference more mods in mods. I think that's something that the mod community is really lacking, like a sense of continuity between different projects. Something I want to see more often. Shouldn't say it's completely lacking. We have like Beck showing up in Easy 2 and Easy U, and I love that. I had to push pretty hard for that, actually. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't a fan of Easy 2 just because I thought Easy 1 was already the perfect mod and Easy 2 just sort of insisted on it, but I'm getting into it a lot now. Yeah, they're very different. I think if you, like, I think playing Half-Life 2 mods has this kind of nostalgic quality to it, where sometimes the imperfections are what make it enjoyable, and Easy 1 being a one-man project over a shorter time frame makes it more flawed but also more charming than Easy 2. You got the idea for Beck to be an Easy 2? Yeah, I don't remember exactly how it came up. My memory is, I feel like, distorted, so I don't want to claim credit for things, but what I remember is, like, we were trying to figure out who would voice which cop in Chapter 0, and I realized that Beck was CW's voice, and I thought, what if we had CW return as one of the cops and also made it the same character, then it could, like, tie together. I think that was something that I suggested, and there was, like, some apprehension about it. I do kind of regret the way that I went to the Easy U team about it. Like, I didn't give them a lot of context. I just sort of ran with it, and I didn't really properly, like, brief them on, like, exactly how Beck was going to be used or, like, what the story was going to be. I was just like, hey, what's Beck's number? I think I just started with, like, does Beck have a number? And that was it. No, it was, right, because the script already had the lines for the cop that would become Beck being called 28, so I was like, hey, give Beck a number and make it start with 28. And they were like, okay, like, why? And I don't think I even explained it very well. I don't know. Employee 8 probably remembers that better than I do. Or CW would. If 2810 is Beck's day, then 3650 should be Bad Cop's day. That's good. Like, talking to people in the modding community has given me a lot of resentment for the American dating format. Like, we tend to use month, day, year instead of day, month, year. Did I get that right? Yeah. And it's just frustrating to switch between them because I never know which way around it's supposed to be anymore. So I've personally started just going year first, because no matter who I'm talking to, then they will know. If I do like year dash month dash day, everybody can recognize it. But honestly, we should just use day, month, year, because that's the most consistent one, but I don't know why we have it different over here. I'd like to see, Bloody, if we get another flashback sequence in AP. I don't know. I don't know if that's something that we'll see or not, like, genuinely. I don't, like, I'm not going to talk too much about the story in AP, but that's something where I've thought about it before, but there's nothing, like, set in stone for that. I know this needs to be a door. I think this door is too wide. Yeah. So it could just be a single door, but I actually think that a roll-up door might be good, because one thought I had is, what if I turned this into a find the crank puzzle? So I can have the crank over here behind something, and then you have to roll up the door, but then the door will close behind you, so this area will be inaccessible once you move on to the next area. I think it's a good idea to keep closing areas off behind the player, because I want to have some parts of the map involve backtracking, and if there's an area that you don't need to backtrack to, I should cut it off so you never go back. That also means that, like, when you return this way later on, I can just remove all the entities from this section of the map. That'll free up some entity indexes. So why don't I just roll with that for now and say this is going to be a roll-up door. No pun intended. Kind of thinking like the, some doors like that. I think there's lots of potential for the Prologue Cops to be expanded as characters and spin-offs. I agree. Yeah. I'd like to see more content, like, based on EZ, where it's either cops who rebel against the Combine or, like, resistant spies or stuff like that. I guess, like, I've played enough Combine stories where I'm like, I really want a good resistance story again. I really liked that playing Combine Base Assault. Gotta go now. I'll be going to my family's house soon. Oh, have a good have a good visit. Hope your day goes well. Thanks for stopping in. Car Zero is Laszlo. This one is 128 units wide. I think that is too wide for this. Yeah, why did I make this hallway so skinny? Maybe I should stretch it out a little bit. But I think the door that I was actually thinking of is a different one. Be in this map that's cut from the game. I did some work on this map. The part that I worked on, it's over here, right? Yeah, this is what I'm thinking of. Oh, really? That was a Borealis door? I forgot that's the kind of door that I used. That feels strange, to be honest. A prequel mod where you get to see and take part in the City 10 uprising seems so cool. I agree. I would love to see that, honestly. I think for me, I kind of got like I lost some interest in that storyline because of COVID, to be honest. Just going through the pandemic and the lockdown and everything kind of made me feel less interested in telling a story about a pandemic under the Combine. Is that a Boreal Aleph track? This is Uncertainty Principle from Exxon Pariah. I think Spencer did some of the tracks for Boreal Aleph, so that's probably why it sounds similar. This is definitely Spencer. How do I want to do this? I think I am going to steal one of these doors. It'll fit really well. We never see this kind of door in Arbite 1 though, so I'm like kind of skeptical. I'm a little bit skeptical. I theorize the City 10 uprising is the reason the Combine intensified the water cans and monitoring their obedience. I like that headcanon a lot. I think that would play really well with a story about the City 10 uprising. So I'm gonna steal this from myself. City 10 Rebel Cops, my beloved. Yeah, I think it's fun to see them switch sides. It's the good ending, if you will. We don't get that with bad. Well, we kind of. I guess we kind of do, but it's a little different. It's a shame they're probably all dead by the time of Easy 2, unless any of them escaped with the rebels who were in City 10. That's a possibility. So there is still some hope, I think. But yeah, mostly, I think everyone involved in the City 10 uprising probably died out from sea flu. Vorts are immune to sea flu because they're from Zen? That's actually a really good question. I have no idea. You'd have to ask Breadman. But I kind of want to ask him that now because I had never thought about that before. I think you're right. I think that's true. But that would 100% be a Breadman question. It feels kind of wrong having this kind of door here. Maybe I'll change that. Maybe this doesn't feel right. I don't know. For now, we'll roll with that. And then I'm going to take this handy-dandy instance I made from when I was working on that map. I have an idea for this. Okay, that rolled a little bit more than I was intending it to. Custom C-flu storyline, I made it so Barney has to keep a stash of C-flu vaccines and inject them every once in a while to stop himself from spreading it into City 17. That's interesting. I never really thought about whether or not Barney caught C-flu. I guess maybe the Resistance really did find a cure. I believe what Breadman said is that the Combine eventually cured it, so that would kind of make sense if that was true. I think I'm gonna grab a light from this map. Oops. What the? Model Zombie Classic is corrupt and Hammer++ cannot proceed. This model may be incompatible with this version of Hammer++. I've never seen such a thing before. warts are the key to a definitive cure. That makes sense. Typical error. Really? Have you seen that before? I've never had an error related to the zombie model before. That seems really strange to me.
Oh, fiddlesticks.
Oh, fiddlesticks. What now? That's exactly right. Sure. It doesn't seem like I lost any progress. Just happens sometimes? Is that new with Hammer++? Not to say that the old Hammer doesn't crash oftentimes for no reason. Maybe the error message is new. Like maybe that was always one of the crashes that Hammer had, and I just never knew it was related to one of the models. That could very well be. Yeah, I'm gonna grab this light. Hi, Electricity Flame. Hammer++ automatically saving a map version upon a crash is such a lifesaver. Didn't the old Hammer do that too? I'd be so heated if I lost all my progress. Yeah, I reflexively, when I have Hammer open, I hit Control S every 15 seconds. I have to. And I also usually store my maps under version control, so I can go back to old versions. I use Git, although Git is not very good for like VMFs. Because Git is designed for text-based files, and VMFs are text-based. However, the way Hammer saves them a lot of times makes lots of extraneous changes that make it hard for Git to keep track of the versions. But I could make Git track it as a binary file with LFS. I've thought about that. Yeah, I knew what you meant. No worries. I think I need to make this a brighter light source for this. This is going to be as well. We're going to use a really bright light here. I see a lot of lights in Easy 2 use 800. That seems way too bright. I'm going to be honest. I don't understand why. It doesn't look bright in the Hammer++ preview because nothing looks bright in Hammer++. But like, if I was going to open, let's say C32, and look at some of these orange lights. He's using a red light in here for the chamber because it's supposed to be a dangerous area. 800. 800 here too. I have a habit of saving after every change I make as well. Yeah, it's like it's just a reflex now. Sometimes I control S in programs where I'm not supposed to control S. Does Breadman still answer questions regarding Easy 1 lore? I'm sure he does sometimes. I don't know if he's been able to check it in a while. I've been really interested in the Easy 1 storyline ever since I had the revelation of Rebel Cop's existence. Yeah, it's also something that we've been thinking about a lot lately because we're revisiting Easy 1. So I think it's more on his mind than it has been. Let me just quick see how this looks. Control. Ooh. Oh, wait. What have I done? Do I not have... Oh, wait. It should be just... There we go. Ooh. It leaked. What have I... Did I forget to put a brush on this? I totally did. That's silly. We're just going to cap it with a developer texture for now. What is this? Weird. Hammer, GIMP, VTF edit, Blender, it doesn't matter. I gotta do it in all of them. I'm the same way. 100%. I don't know how, but it suddenly started working. I did nothing differently. Are you sure that you did nothing differently? Like, sometimes there can be changes that happen when you're not really, you know, maybe you changed something without thinking it would make a difference, or maybe Steam re-downloaded something. Something did happen differently. You can tell because the outcome is different. Ooh, I gotta add a clip brush on there. Wow, those high intensity lights look a lot better than I expect them to. Like, I thought 800 was way too bright. But it actually looks pretty good. Thanks, XT. Oh, these doors didn't show up. Why is the wheel doing that? Something I'll have to troubleshoot. Yeah, so the point... That looks weird. Okay, something's going wrong with this wheel. I'll troubleshoot that later, but the point of this door is going to be that it's one way. Once you go into this area, the door will close behind you and you won't be able to return. So that will make sure that the player always keeps forward momentum. Really grateful with the Easy 2 soundtrack for making me discover Jordi Grebe. What's that? I've never heard of them. Is that like an artist? Now, I wanted to put some lights in the hallway, but I actually think I'm going to leave it mostly unlit, and we'll see why in a second. But this is where things are going to get a little bit weird. I want some Zen infestation in this hallway. Turn off shadows. Is it weird that I almost think shadows should be turned off by default on props, static props and dynamic props? Usually the render texture shadows, or what are the, yeah, is that what they're called? The regular shadows from baked light maps on like vertex lit props, they don't look very good. I only really want them on like physics props that can move, or on NPCs. It's like prog rock and all that. I'm not very familiar with music, but I gave it a listen. I kind of like it. Oh, I'll have to check it out. How hard would it be to make a hunter chopper a drivable vehicle? Pretty hard, because there's no flying vehicle to base it on. You'd have to make an entirely new type of drivable vehicle, which you could do, but I've never really seen anybody do that, except there was a Map Labs entry recently that implemented an entire flight sim in Half-Life 2 only using VScript. So that was an incredible achievement. It was called the Arrowhead campaign. I almost forgot the name. The Arrowhead campaign was amazing. So I would love to see people make more like air combat mods like that, and with that method they could definitely make the Hunter Chopper. But making it a drivable vehicle more like the Jeep or like the APC in Easy 2 would be very difficult. Mapping would be very expensive since you need to have a huge area to disguise the off-bounds. Yeah, what the Arrowhead campaign did was they had pretty low detail, large scale maps. because you couldn't get out of the aircraft and walk around. So it was more like the entire map was the skybox, the 3D skybox, if that makes sense. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Zen stuff. So I'm going to retexture this prop to be blue. I haven't retextured this one yet. I think I started to do is doing 15 push-ups every time Hammer crashes. You're gonna be so ripped. Like, isn't that like don't hurt yourself. You gotta pace yourself, dude. You're gonna cause an injury doing that. It's like hundreds of push-ups. So we're gonna open this door slightly so that the Zen goop can be spilling into the room. Most effective training routine known to man. Some blue goop. Would you retexture those blast doors though? It's not a bad idea. This is the same texture that's used in EZ2 though. You know, like, I think the door is meant to be like White Forest base, or no, it's actually Black Mesa East, I think, that has these doors. It kind of makes sense. Why do these ones not have the, like, sticker on them? What? Oh. There's another skin. What? That's interesting. I think this one is for Chapter 6. You know what? Actually, I'm changing my mind here. I think... Oh, wait a minute. I just realized I need this to also be extended out. I think I should... Oops. This extend maybe that far. Or like that far. And then maybe have a wall like this. I think that will look a little bit better. Although maybe first I'll start by painting this a little bit. I will add some noise, but not a lot of noise. I think maybe adding like maximum 4. And then I'm gonna have a more aggressive noise pattern on that vertical wall. Like noise 32. Yeah. And then sew these. Maybe even subdivide. Okay, I think that was a bit too aggressive. But let's try putting the floor back in. Yeah, that looks pretty good, actually. Looks like it's just like spilling through the wall. I don't like the way it clips right here, though. I think I'm gonna maybe lower it a little bit right where the wall intersects it, or the door. Just a little bit. I don't know, I think I ruined it. I don't know. That doesn't look very good. Soiled it. Soiled it. I hope we have more mentions of 36 in the next episode of EZU. I think that'd be cool. Yeah. Yeah, that works. That's like too hard to spot. Also, I'm not quite sure how I should light this. If I should just put like some of the bright hue on it, or maybe I could even do something like something like this. Nah. That works. That should be like 200. And this, of course, should have no shadows. Disable shadows. That looks pretty good. Can't really see this though. Maybe I should just be like right in the middle there. Or you know what might be kind of cool actually is if a zombie is like holding the crank. Yeah, I mean that would work. I like the normal mapping on this texture. This is definitely giving me that proto-molecule or phazon from Metroid Prime, from the Expanse and Metroid Prime respectively, vibe. One thing I want to share about Mission Revenge is the fact that both protagonists will have their own voice and response system, bad cop style. That sounds really interesting. But who are the two protagonists? That's what I don't understand. You probably aren't ready to share that yet, but I'm very curious about it. Where did these doors go? Hey. Wait a minute. I would love if you had like a twist that Barney actually survived Mission Terminate Calhoun somehow. I don't know how that would work. Then I would like consider it canon, so to speak. I know I don't like that word very much, but I need to add some radiation sources to this map. I really wish I could make a mod. You can make a mod. It's a lot, there's a lot to learn, but if you're willing to give it a chance, I think you'll be surprised what you can come up with. forgot to ask, but how will Easy 2 handle the upcoming map-based update? Will the game automatically turn on the legs, and will the view models use C hands? They're going to remain V-handed because I don't think I think there might be some limitations that prevent us from using C hands. Not for a lack of wanting C hands. It's just, I don't know if it'll be feasible because of the animations not always sharing the same rig. So yeah, the hands will remain the same, but the map-based 8 update is going to break saves. That's something that I'm very concerned about. So we'll be paying special attention to that. I think, like, where's the button for displacements? There we go. So we'll have to be careful about how we distribute that update because it is going to break saves. So this will probably be a good time for us to update maps since we avoid updating maps because we want to avoid updating saves. So we'll probably, what that's going to look like is we won't be releasing that update for a long time. Until we're ready with enough map changes and we're ready with enough testing that we feel comfortable resetting everyone's saves, that we feel like it'll be worth it to do that. Ooh, I cannot get this to show up on both brushes at the same time. Yeah, so with the update, it might be something that's on the upcoming branch for a long time. So it won't be distributed in the public branch, but you can still use it in your add-on as long as you just say, oh, you need to use the upcoming branch to be able to use this. I've been rigging Bad Cop hands to cold signal view models at some point so they could have been used in the main campaign. That would actually be really useful. Like, for me especially, that would be very, very helpful because I've been wondering how I'm going to get the cold signal weapons in the Scar Zero add-on. So if you do make that, that would be really helpful for me because I wasn't sure how to go about that. The new C-Hand system will support having multiple C-Hands models for different rigs. That's awesome. Blix, welcome. I don't know if we talked about that before. Let me know, am I having a little amnesia moment there? Maybe you did tell me that and I've completely forgotten. If so, I'm sorry. I've been lurking. Yeah, it's always good to see you. The stream probably isn't going to go on for too much longer. I think I'll probably wrap it up within the next hour. It was in one of the pull requests I reviewed. Well, I'm sure the code looked good when I reviewed it. Wait, let me... I'm actually pulling up GitHub right now to see this. I think there's a new value in weapon parse. Oh. Wait, when would that pull request have been closed? I don't know if I'm gonna find it that way. Reviewed by me. Would that be in the Half-Life 2 player character switching system? Probably not. I think it's something earlier than that. part of the protagonist system. Wait, I'm still not seeing it. I'm actually gonna... it's a new value in weapon parse. Oh, here it is. Here's the enum. Handrig default, Handrig CSS, Handrig blender. I do remember this. So that was totally me having an amnesia moment. Is there an estimated time when the upcoming Easy 2 update will be? Will it be right after the map-based updates or later? I'm really looking forward to seeing those pull requests in the game. Yeah, we still have an update that was sort of left in flight that I never published. So we should publish that one, then we would merge the map-based update, and then that update, that's something I've talked with Blix about, but that's gonna probably stay in upcoming for a long time. Like, there will be many updates after that that only go to upcoming and are not published, because once we publish that update, it's going to reset everyone's saves, so we want to make sure that we make the most of that and that it's properly tested. We don't want to have to do that again, right? So when will that get to the upcoming branch? I don't know. We don't have any, like, definite plans right now. Like, I know vaguely what we're going to do, but I don't know when we're going to do it. But I appreciate you asking, because you have a really good reason to want that update. So I do appreciate why it's important, you know. I understand. I want to add some kind of an interaction here. I'm not sure if I want a zombie to be holding the crank. Some of my boy has been waiting in the dust. Wait, what do you mean? Are there other add-ons that are waiting on the update? Support division. Oh, is that the like the medic code for soldiers? I thought that was already... Was that in the last update, or is that still not... It might not even be merged yet, actually. Thank you for the VR mod. I'm not going to ask when it's ready, as I assume it's probably frequently asked. I appreciate that. I know these things take time to cook, but just genuinely thank you. Oh, I appreciate it. I haven't made much changes to the VR code recently. To be honest, the thing that we're working on the most right now are the map updates that Breadman is doing. So we've been working on that, you know, pretty consistently. We're taking our time with it. There's still a few more changes that need to be made for VR for it to work right, but hopefully we'll have more news eventually. Yeah, I can't really commit to any time frame, but it makes me very happy that people are anticipating it. Making mods that involve VR has been something I've wanted to do for a long time, so I've been really happy about this announcement. Still missing those. What do I want to do here? Oh, my radiation source isn't working. most important thing, but maybe it's because it's partially in the brush there. I didn't realize that. I think I'm gonna have some head crabs burrow out of the goop. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Finally be able to play as models, humans, group O3M male, something that Twitch thought was a link with the Griggs response system. I'm looking forward to the protagonist system. I think it's going to be really great for little, like maps with different protagonists, different perspectives. You get to play as different characters. I guess that's kind of redundant, but I'm just excited. It's going to be fun. So I want to do something kind of fun here. I want the Gonome to react to these headcrabs dying, even though it won't be on screen. So it's not actually going to be there. But maybe I can sort of fake it. Something where it's like off in the distance, you know? You hear it, but it's not really there. Maybe you hear it coming from over here. Not sure where this sound should even come from. It sounds really loud on stream, I'm sorry. If there was a mod for Black Mesa VR, I'd sell my soul, and but it probably will never happen. There is a Black Mesa VR that's in development. However, it's not using Black Mesa's code. It's not from Crowbar Collective, so it's a Half-Life 2 mod. It's using assets from Black Mesa. It looks pretty promising. I wish they had like VR view models for the weapons. But I'm interested to see where that project goes. Just gonna do some quick and dirty hammer logic here. Got a question. Can you blind fire in VR? I mean, how would you not be able to blind? Like, I mean, you can always just like turn the gun. And, yeah, like of course, you can blind fire. It's just like I guess it's the kind of thing where it's like an emergent property of having full control of the weapon. You know, It's not that blind fire is like a specific feature, it's just that because you can point the gun in any direction, blind fire is an emergent property of that. Vorpex, Ep2 VR, or the Russian VR mod? No, it's, yes, yep, that's the one I was talking about. It's the one that's using the same source code from Half-Life 2 VR, or Half-Life 2 Episode 2 VR. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to see them come up with new weapon models and stuff like that, but the problem is not having the source code for Black Mesa. They have to recreate everything by themselves. So I think there's a lot that they could do with that, but it's never going to be like an actual port of Black Mesa without Black Mesa's source code. It's not possible. That's where, like, with Entropy Zero VR, Entropy Zero source code is open source. So obviously I have it, and once I had access to the Half-Life 2 VR source code, that's when I was able to make the port. If you don't have access to both the source code of Half-Life 2 VR and the source code of the mod you're porting, you cannot make a port. It's not possible. I wonder if Black Mesa would go open source on their 35th anniversary. Wait, you mean, what would that be? 15th? When did they, because they, 20th anniversary? I guess, because they probably started in 2005, so I guess, dang, that's crazy. But anyways, it would be awesome if they went open source. I wouldn't expect them to. I think it's very uncommon for games nowadays to open source even most of their libraries. 150th anniversary, yeah. Black Mesa is a paid game after all, exactly. So I wouldn't expect them to go open source. Valve would probably say no for the Steam version because it uses code from the CSGO branch. Oh. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's not possible. The mod version might be more likely, although I feel like they would have already open sourced if there wasn't a problem. That's a good point. It would be cool, even if it's the 2012 release, just to get the source code for it, because like it would be really useful for modders, even if it's the old Black Mesa source. Doesn't the Blue Shift team have access to the source code? I don't think they made any source code changes, but I could be wrong. I know they have like new NPCs, but I think all of their new NPCs are using code from the original game. I don't think they're actually, well, where are they? Because there's like the new bull squid and stuff. That's a good question. They have map logic based enemies? That's what I was thinking, but I actually don't know. Other ones go. Uh-oh. I guess I should add a node graph too. I don't think the head crabs necessarily need it. Oh, welcome back. Sorry that you weren't able to have your visit. We probably won't be streaming for too much longer today. I'm looking to wrap up pretty soon. I'm gonna pause the music a second so we can hear. Seems awfully quiet. So, I think I know what you're talking about when you say the Valenbine. They're from a Map Labs map. That's not supposed to be in the Easy 2 demo. I think I know what you're talking about. I believe that was a mistake. I think I left those, the textures in by accident, and they're really not supposed to be there. The map is called Backcut. It was from, what was the theme of that again? I can't even remember which challenge Backcut was in. Oh my goodness. I think it was, Run, Think, Shoot, Liveville 2. Yeah, it had to be, right? They're part of the Scar Zero family now, yeah. It was a really good design. That was by, that's Redonkulous, who was one of the mappers on Backcut. It was really his idea. He made Backcut, and I got to collaborate with them on it. Seems way too quiet. I don't think I can change that. What? No, it's not. That was something they actually did to their own armor. Because those I think were the shotgunners from Backcut. Backcut was it's been a really long time since I worked on that, but to my recollection, it was like sort of a Mad Max inspired like wasteland setting where there was a faction of Combine soldiers that I don't think they were really with the Combine anymore. They had like separated. They did have a gunship though, so I'm not sure exactly how that fits into the picture. But it was like a I guess a Combine fortress without a lot of Combine technology. It was mostly like stuff that the Combine soldiers scavenged for themselves, and so they painted their own armor. So that's why the Scar Zero VMT says Wasteland Soldier. Yep, because it was just the Wasteland Soldier VMT that was copied. That's all. This ambient generic seems way too quiet. Maybe I'll put it closer to the player. Maybe it should just be like, I don't know, like right here, right in the middle of the hallway. Will players know that maybe it's like echoing above them kind of deal. Wish the Gonome has slump and wake up animations. That would be really cool. It'd be really cool. I feel like there was another animation I was wishing the Gonome had recently, but I don't remember what it was. Door stuck. Door stuck. Okay, there we go. I should probably fix that. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I think these will actually come out of the vent, which is kind of weird, kind of counterintuitive, but I think that will put it in the right position relative to where the player is, and it'll still be loud enough. And this, I suppose, will be like right here. That's gonna interfere with the head crab. Gonna maybe slide that right there. No, be like slide that over. Slide it over here. I love the physics tool in Hammer++. That's definitely my favorite Hammer++ feature. Whoops. Okay. Maybe not. It'd be funny to have a very specific Easter egg that can only be known through watching the stream. Something like kick 2 specific corpses and displace a prop into a certain vent for the ceiling to fall down with the Valentine corpse and an M249 machine gun. I do like that idea, actually. I'll think about it. Maybe we'll come up with something on stream where it's like, if you watch the stream, then you'll know how to get the secret item, and otherwise you won't know. Now I'm thinking I kind of want some zombies attached to the walls like this guy. I'm not able to use this instance I made. I made an instance for a zombie attached to the wall, but it turns out you can't use displacements in instances, at least the way that I was using them. And I was really surprised by that. Bizarre and unexplainable Easter eggs are my favorite kind. I kind of dislike them, to be honest. I prefer it when players are able to figure stuff out. But it does kind of take me back to a simpler time when I would see, like, people would make videos about how to unlock some kind of Easter egg in Halo 3, and it was just completely made up. But of course, people would try it anyways, and inevitably it wouldn't work. I don't think this is gonna work the way I intended. That doesn't look right. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. He's gonna be stuck halfway through this metal piece. Yeah, that video was like a troll video that you're talking about. I think I saw that too. Okay, it worked better than I was expecting. I kind of dig this, actually. I should just like have the goop extend outwards through the metal a little bit more, and then it would hide the fact that the zombie is halfway in the brush. You can even see his Arbite tag a little bit. That's kind of cool. Zombie torture. Need some music. Clone Cop pastime and Arbite underground torture by feeding a rebel with rotten food and kicking zombies into the grinder. I think he did both of those things, actually. We don't see any evidence of him using the grinder, but it is right next to his hideout, so probably. Insert the Germa line about the meat grinder. Oh, there he goes. Just checking. I'm decently happy with how this hallway turned out. I think this was a good scope for this stream, and then on the next stream I can plan to do the bigger area in the next part. It's slow progress, but it's still progress, and I think that's what's important. That's too much. That's also too much. Would Clone Cop go on a Germa-style rant about how survivable falling into a meat grinder is? No, but I still kind of want to see that as a YouTube video, now that you pointed out. That would be fun. When I remake Scar Zero's model with my vision on it, I'd like to make a model for his victim too. You mean the medic in Chapter 2? That would be interesting. I feel like this area is missing something. There's just something missing. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I think that would be a good detail to show. I'm going to add some lights, but they'll actually be turned off in this area. We don't actually need any more light in here. The lights would be lined up like right about there. Zero bloody hands. Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense. Trying to figure out what it is that I need in this section that isn't already there. A soundscape, for sure. That I'm not sure what soundscape to use for this. Maybe there needs to be a sign over here. Like this. That one mentions the combine. Doors used anywhere in Half-Life 2. I remember they were used in the Vortigaunt camp at the end of Sand Traps. It's the only time I remember it being used, although I'm sure there must be another time, right? I haven't used this sign before. It just makes sense. Stores were used in Half-Life 2. Do you remember any usages outside of the Sand Traps chapter? In the Coast of Wart hideout. Yeah, that's the only time I can remember them being used.
my eyes, they're like some of the most iconic props Half-Life 2 has to offer, but they're barely used anywhere. It's true. Sometimes things stick in your memory based more on like how you perceive it than how frequently you saw it. I guess any other location wouldn't fit the door. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I think that'll help. Or will it? Yeah, that'll help. I feel decently happy with how this area turned out. I'll add a zombie on the other side. Oh, I'm dead. Who was that? Is Gildan?
I thought he was bulletproof.
I thought he was bulletproof. That one's stuck. I probably should have him upright, actually. See if that helps. Another thing I wanted to do was actually have this move. That's asking too much, I'm not sure. Because, let's see here. How would I want that to work? Basically, this whole thing would become one track train, or like a move linear. Yeah, that's true. The cops in Chapter 0 are the developers. Two of D survived. It's true. Move direction. We want it to go up. Probably this will. I'm going to cut this off right here. Should it go? Probably we want, let's see, 68 units. Broken chamber wall door. It's already technically closed. You want it to actually open. That went too far. Okay. Let's try that again. So we want to stay closed. And actually what I want is for the lip to be 72 units. 72 units. This light doesn't look good, though. Something I've got to think about. Let's try a few things. For one thing. Let's do a start sound door. What song is this? This is from the Entropy Zero Uprising OST, Damaging Surroundings by Employee 8. That seems very Aperture. No, those are just the door sounds. Oops. I think that's what we want. And then probably I'll add a trigger right here. I'll spook the player. Oops, I just closed my chat window in OBS. Uh-oh. Here we go. What was that, Blix? Oh, you thought the door sound was part of a redeem? That would be funny, actually. I should get a door sound redeem. Trigger once. Closes the door behind you. Or opens the door behind you. I know it's confusing. I can't really notice the block light, which is good. Oh, uh-oh. What have I done? Wait, what? Where'd that trigger go? I was just editing a second ago. Am I losing it? I swear I just had a trigger that I put right here. Oh, for some reason I made this into a trigger once. What am I thinking? That's better. That was fast. I think I'll go now. It's getting late for me. It's okay, Danskart. I was just about to wrap up stream anyways. So I think that was perfect timing. But yeah, I think this is a decent amount of progress for today. I'm happy with this corridor for what it is, you know. Connects us into the next area, and it's helped me get my bearings with the mapping a little bit. So thank you everyone for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this as well. I had a pretty relaxing time putting this map together. Let me see if there's anyone for me to raid today. Cool stuff. Yeah, thanks for joining, XTXT. Let me quick, I'm gonna see if I should raid. We're here. Thanks, you too. I'm gonna raid a friend from VR chat. I'm not sure exactly what he's streaming, but we'll find out. It'll be a mystery. So if you guys feel like joining me on a raid, I'm gonna be raiding Jaga. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. And remember, I'm gonna come back on Thursday to stream the rest of Terminator Annihilation Line. Otherwise, yeah, hope you have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Bye-bye. See ya.